2024 best ball streets are hot. August is right around the corner. Tonight, we continue with the best ball degrees and head back to the marathon on Underdog. Playoffs, as Jim Mora would say, no need for playoffs. Welcome to Club Fantasy FFL. Welcome to Masterclass. Tonight, we are headed to the marathon over on Underdog. And as always, our co-host and professor, Miss Stacy Perez at Stacy_Perez 83 on Twitter. And you can find me at FantasyJ77 on Twitter. Stacy.
Gator.
Just got to spend a little bit of time together down there doing the SFB. I enjoyed it. I hope you did.
Yeah. I did. I had a great time down there in Orlando. So drafting in Scott Fishbowl. So everybody shout out to all of our Orlando friends that we already were friends with and friends that we made this weekend. Hope some of you guys are listening. And a special shout out to the Toy Story Jessie division. I think we're in round 15 right now.
Yeah. I think we're in that round 16. Y'all were always you guys were the slow ones throughout.
We're still the slowest. We're still the slowest. Nothing has changed since we moved online. I love you guys. Team 12, you've been on the clock for a minute. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, the most fun I had two things. My draft went really, really good.
Yeah.
And then this raffle thing. Did you hear about the raffle thing?
Yeah, you cleaned up at the raffle.
Well, I got 0 jerseys. I got 0 subscriptions.
Me too. Yeah, same.
But.
Show the people what you did get.
My championship ring is here already.
Yes.
SFB 14 is over. I already have the ring.
Yes.
Oh, and SFB 15, here I come.
No.
So I got the ring and an invite to SFB 15 already ready to go. Stacy, how did your draft start off? I mean, not too good from what I saw.
You know, I did a little. I kind of tried to zig when everybody else was zagging a little bit.
Oh, you zigged in round 1.
I sure did. You know what though? I feel like Gator. I feel like I'm a trendsetter because I've been seeing online the past couple days. I've been seeing a lot of these very tight end. Stacks going on, a lot of bully tight end happening. I just want to say I did it first. Well, I did it second. I actually did it second. But here's what I did. I went CJ Stroud. If you guys want to yell at me for taking him 4th overall, that's absolutely fine. No problem with that. I did take him before Josh Allen. I have personal reasons for that, which we will not get into on the show. It's way too long of a story. You can ask me if you're at the expo, if you care to know. So then
buy Stacy a drink and get the Josh Allen story.
Buy me a drink. Exactly. Or you just buy me a drink just because. So then what I did was I went 3 tight ends. I went Trey McBride, coming around in the 3rd round, Dalton Kincaid still sitting out there in this tight end premium, which was just blowing my mind. So I said, I'm smashing Dalton Kincaid there. And then I came back with Jake Ferguson, which I have gotten a little heat on with Jake Ferguson. But you know what? That's okay because Dak loves to throw to his tight ends. So I really don't care. And then I got a nice little Nico Collins mix in there to go with me, CJ Stroud. And then do you know what I did, Gator?
Oh, I know. I saw it. It all happened right in front of my eyes.
We're going back to orange. We're going back to tight end. I'm getting rookie stud Brock Bowers. So I got 4 absolute studs at the tight end position. I'm just taking all those guys so nobody else gets any tight ends in the Jessie division. And
I believe it was Team 12 that started crying first.
They did. I was getting a lot of heat for that. But you know what, guys? It's a tight end. It's like a super tight end premium, right? Because you get the bump for the receptions, and then you get a bump for tight end first downs. So, it's kind of the same with those running backs, right? You're getting a bump for the attempts that they get, in addition to, the regular receptions and everything. So I just felt like, hey, you know what? I can start all 4 of these guys the way that the roster's set up with the flex spots. And you better believe I will be starting all 4 of these guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you only got to start 1 tight end, but you can start, 5 flexes and sleepers.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be starting 4 tight ends. And I'm not saying that is unless people keep taking the ones that I had in my queue. Jay Willie, I'm talking to you. Uh, taking Jonnu Smith was the last one that I had sitting there in my queue going for me.
I'm sure we'll talk a little bit of Scott Fish over tonight, a little bit more, and then of course over the next couple weeks. But I do want to say this for anybody and everybody that is in Scott Fish. I don't care if you're drafting live or not. If you have an opportunity to do a live event and just go hang out, because there was a bunch of people. I mean, we had 4 drafts going on,
Yeah.
so that 48 drafters. There was at least 65 to 100 people that
There
was
was
there,
It's just
including the drafters watching. It was a packed house. I got to give credit to Zach, did a phenomenal job. Bob Grillcrest, got to hang out with us for a little while. So if you get a chance to do it, it is an experience like no other.
Yeah.
If you've been to live drafts for years, before, it's phenomenal. Charlene, you're gonna have an amazing time. I know Charlene was in San Francisco last year. She'll be there again this year. So it's a phenomenal time. Absolute blast. But that's not what we're here for, Stacy. We're here to do a marathon
Yeah, we are.
on Underdog. So talk to me about the draft tonight. I know no playoffs.
No playoffs. So let me go ahead because I know that this might take a little bit longer to fill because it's not, Best Ball Mania. There's the Pit Bull that's out there ready to go. And I know there's some girls in the chat. There's some guys in the chat, hopefully, too, that are ready to jump in with us. So what's up, Dame? With you there, Kim?
Dame in the house.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on in and get started, guys. So go ahead and hit that marathon. And if you are ready to do it with me, I'm going to hit enter right now.
Remember, count to 4.
I want you to take my $15, please. We're only waiting for 4 more people. That is excellent. Testament to all you guys watching out there. All y'all, as we say down here in South Florida. Oh, look, it filled. That's right. Hell yeah, it filled. I got to say, guys, I tried to do one of these last night and it took a minute. So I appreciate everybody out here jumping in so that we can get started in a timely fashion. We don't keep you guys up all night. With the draft here at Gator, I've got that ready to go, that draft board, if you'd be so kind.
It's not showing on my screen, so we can't.
Oh, you know why it's not showing on your screen? Because I didn't hit the share screen button. It's been a minute, guys. Been out of town a little bit there on some vacation on 4th of July. So
Stacy's hangover is still there. Where are we drafting from, Stacy? We're drafting from the 9 spot. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Got that 9 spot. All right, let's see who all is in here. We got the Boom Chicka Boom over here. We got Kimberly. We got Ann. We got a couple badge bros in here as well, guys. If you are listening and you are in the chat, please shout out, say hello.
Draft is keep getting. Joe wants to know how he keeps getting the 12. But because you and I, buddy, are going to SFB 15, that's how we get the 12.
Oh, Erica, a different draft.
Erica,
what's up, Erica? Let us know how your draft
kicked off. Wow, that was super quick. Erica, keep us up to date on how your draft is going over there. Where are you drafting from, Erica? SFB 15 represent. Joel. So Joel won his in Cleveland last week. So awesome. Oh, Carla didn't get it either.
Oh, I hope you girls. All right. So if there's anybody else listening who didn't get in, please make sure go ahead and jump on in. You'll probably be in the one with Erica and Carla right now.
Yeah, Carla. It's probably Erica and Carla, the only 2 people in that one right now.
It's probably just you guys in there. Oh man, look at this. So we're going straight receiver here after Christian McCaffrey with Hill, Lamb, Jefferson, Chase, and St. Brown at 6. So team 7 here on the clock. Oh, that went with Bijan. That was going to be my pick. No way he was making it down to me though.
Yeah, I think the one we did last week where I talked you into going a little heavy RB to start with. Of course, we were at the 4 or 5 spot last week when we did that. I like the way that worked out. Now we are on the clock. Now the 3 big running backs are gone. Top 5 wide receivers right now are off the board. What's the thought process here, Stacy?
Yeah, Gator, I'm going to keep it green. I really liked our team together last time with starting off there with our anchor running back, a hero running back. So I'm going to grab a little more for my my team.
I have absolutely, just ruined you. I have ruined you.
For now, we'll see. We got to shake it up. We gotta do a little bit differently here and there. We can't always do the same thing. That's the point of doing so many of these drafts where you can do multiple entries, is that you want to have different exposures to different players. Not that I don't have a ton of Jahmyr Gibbs. I actually don't have a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs because where he goes towards the back end of that draft is not really where I've been drafting recently. So
Yeah, so Joel's on the clock here at 12, but not try to give anything out here, but with Jahmyr Gibbs, we've talked about this multiple times throughout multiple streams about correlation.
yeah,
This week 17, of course, no playoffs here,
right.
right? But do we
Exactly.
still correlate?
I don't think you have to. I don't think there's anything wrong with it necessarily, but I don't think you need to be as concerned about it as you would be in like a Best Ball Mania or another draft where you are relying on getting into weeks, 15 through 17. Even with correlation, right? You still have to have a team good enough to make the playoffs. So you don't want to get so caught up in the correlating and going through and doing all your, weeks 15 through 17, matches. You got to make sure that you can get there first. So I don't feel like I absolutely have to do it, although I'm sure it's probably just going to happen just because. I'm on the clock, and I swear I'm not going to take Sam Laporta here. Don't worry.
That's what I was wondering if you were going to do that to add the correlation in there. But I think this is a
I am actually going
combination.
to correlate, and I didn't mean to do this. I just wanted this player anyway, but I'm going to do a little Detroit, San Francisco there.
100%. That's kind of where I was going with this. In the correlation, I don't think is as necessary,
Right.
but organic correlation here is going to help, at least in my opinion, because again, you're
Mm-hmm.
it's almost a combination of a big field tournament, which is
Yeah.
what this is,
Right.
and an individual group, like the normal 12-man, best balls. So you're not trying to correlate to get into the playoffs. You're trying to correlate to withstand the playoffs.
Exactly. And you are right next to me, so don't be sniping me. Pretty please.
pretty please.
But Gator, you're right. I mean, so this is a little bit lower a field than the typical, Best Ball Mania where you've got 600,000 plus, in here. And this one you've got it's 150K max. So and then well that's no, I'm sorry. Is it 150? Am I wrong on that? Let me look at
No,
that
it's a 150 max entry.
entry.
150,000.
150,000 participants. Okay, I knew my numbers were somewhat right there. That's what happens when you abbreviate on your show sheet.
Well, that and you do multiple different best balls.
Exactly. But this is a $15 entry point, unlike the sprint, which is 50. Sprint is, just for the playoffs there. So you're looking specifically for those playoffs. So one like that, correlation is super important. And we'll probably do one of those at some point before the season's out, as long as we can get to it before it fills. But yeah, I mean, this is the same roster, just like any other, underdog that you're going to do with the three wide receiver start. And then what else did I put specific about this draft? Oh, yeah, it's $300,000 first place. So not too bad, especially when you're paying a lot lower amount of people than you are in some of the other drafts.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew it. That's a $15, 150 max entry. Again, the scoring is standard across the board for underdog, 30-second clock. So if you're listening afterwards or even live right now and not paying attention to the board, it is a on underdog the marathon 150 max, $15 entry fee, 300K.
Yep, pretty nice.
To the single winner, which is interesting. It's only 11% field right now, but it's paying, like I said, it's 150,000, and it's paying out to the 23rd.
Yeah,
23,000 people is being paid out in this tournament.
Yeah,
You're gonna at least make your buy-in back. So nice little chunk of change is possible there. If you're wanting to get into one, Erica still has one going right now. 8 people are there. So if you did not get into this particular one, go jump into another one with Erica. And maybe Carla's in that one as well.
Yeah, hopefully
Ben says he's
Carla's
sorry
back.
he's late. There was a snake at work, and we had to take off. Who's winning? The Braves.
The Braves are are they
I have
playing
no idea.
right
I
now?
have no idea. I don't know if the
Oh
Braves.
yeah, they're not. The Braves, of course, are going to win. They're not playing yet. There's a snake loose in Arizona at the Braves game. If you count the Diamondbacks, Vince, you have the most interesting comments. I
Yeah.
need to know a little bit more about the steak at work. If that wasn't my work, I would have just burnt the entire place down.
Well,
Uh,
at least it's a snake and not a kangaroo. You got to remember, Vince is in Australia, so it
no,
could be a kangaroo. We just don't know is a snake mean kangaroo in English?
there are nasty snakes down there in Australia. I'm much rather going to deal with a kangaroo. I think. Vince, obviously you're the expert. You're the Australian. What's worse to deal with? Who wins in a fight, a snake or a kangaroo? Or who
Boof.
could you beat in a fight, Gator, a snake or a kangaroo?
Who could I beat?
Yeah,
Neither. I don't run. So I don't do marathons, so I
same.
don't run. I'd lose both of those fights. Yeah,
My
Carla,
favorite thing to
Carla and
do.
Erica are both waiting for you guys. And
Yeah,
look,
like, get in there, guys.
only four more. So jump
Get in there.
into theirs and be in our chat. That'd be great. That would
Four
be
more. Let's fill out Erica and Carla's draft. Let's get them going. I
right.
got me a little.
As you're coming up on the clock here, I just want to run through these first couple of
Oh,
rounds while you're looking at this pick here. We got Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bijan Robinson, Brees Hall, Jameer Gibbs, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nakua to end the first round. Then the second round starts Drake London, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jonathan Taylor, Brandon Ayuk, Saquon Barkley, Devon Achan, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Debo Samuel to end the second. Third starts with Devontae Smith, Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, Malik Neighbors, DJ Moore, Josh Allen, the first quarterback off the board, Tank Dell, Jalen Hurts, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce. There's your first three rounds. The one that stands out to me right away is probably the fact that Malik Neighbors went in front of DJ Moore.
yeah, yeah. There's another one too that I took part in and flipping some ADP on two receivers out of Houston too. But yeah, Neighbors going before DJ Moore. I'm gonna look up some ADP on that. I've got the Fantasy Pros ADP for best ball going on over here. I don't draft for a minute, so I can take a look at this. Let's see. We've got DJ Moore on Underdog is going 21. It's the 29th pick overall, 18th receiver. So we're
He went 31 in this draft.
31 at this draft. Yeah, that's wild. Neighbors is going as the 24th overall receiver overall and the 39th pick total.
Yeah, he went at 30. Let's
Mhm.
see, 5, 6, 7, 8. He went as a 21st wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. So he went as a 21st wide receiver, but also went 9 picks ahead of ADP.
Okay. Yeah. 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 This draft is wild. Like if you're watching this,
Okay, then stop it.
you're just looking on the board here. I mean, everybody is receiver happy in this draft. Like this is nuts right here with this squad with this draft board. This is, I mean, it's like usually underdog drafts are pretty receiver heavy, right? Because you start at 3, potentially 4, most likely 4. But holy guacamole, Batman. We got Sam Laporta going in the 4th round here, which is practically unheard of.
Yeah, would you have taken him if he made it to you there in the 4th?
I mean, I could have, right? I definitely could have taken him there, and I wouldn't have hated that team. But I've told myself I'm so overweight on Sam Laporta right now. I've got to back off a little bit and start putting together teams without him, and just diversify a little bit. So I wouldn't have hated my team there, especially with the Gibbs Laporta stack. Then maybe kind of to get a Jared Goff a little bit later. But don't hate that at all. So I took Tank Dell ahead of Stephon Diggs right here, and I'm shocked that Stephon Diggs didn't go immediately after I took Tank Dell in the 3rd, which is probably a smidge high. if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but that's he's been your guy for a year and a half, so I don't
Yeah.
hate it.
No, and I did a pit bull last night, and they went back to back, same round in the third.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Stefan Diggs went almost a full round later than Tank Dell, but Nico Collins also went in the second round in this draft, which is interesting. It's almost like a complete flip here because the last couple of times I've seen it, it's been Stefan Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell is the order that I've seen him go in. And this one here is just the complete opposite of that. So that is very, very interesting. We got a huge wide receiver or tight end run
and
throughout
look
this
at
fifth
how
round.
all these guys are. We're talking the fifth round here, and we've got 5 of
Mhm.
who are probably going to be in the top 8 tight ends at the end of the season here in the fifth round.
Yep. So let me read off this fourth round real quick. We had Patrick. Let's see. That I read the third round. Okay. Third round ended with Travis Kelce again. Patrick Mahomes will start the fourth. Michael Pittman Jr., Sam Laporta, the second tight end off the board. Zay Flowers, Stephon Diggs, Christian Kirk, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Amari Cooper, Lamar Jackson, the fourth quarterback off the board here. Travis Etienne and then Terry McLaurin to end the fourth round. Fifth round started with Josh Jacobs. Then we get this run. Mark Andrews, Rashad White, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, Keenan Allen, George Pickens.
Kittle.
I'm sorry, George Kittle. George Pickens is already off the board.
Don't put that on. I'm not taking George Pickens. Come on now.
Hollywood Brown, Anthony Richardson there in the fifth round at 5'11", and then Jaden Reed to end it. Stacy, you're on the clock right now. Thoughts?
Yes. I got to go receiver. I mean, with the way the receivers are just getting like completely sucked up in this room. I did pick, right? Oh yeah,
Yes.
I took that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I absolutely have to go receiver here. Not that I probably wouldn't have anyway. And I felt like I had to go tight end in room 5, or round 5, the way that the draft was going with all that. That is still blowing my mind that you have Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Trey McBride. Not really as surprised about Pitts and Kittle, but those top 3 that got pushed all the way down to the 5 because of how heavy everybody was going with wide receiver. Charlene, you're right. That tight end run is insane in that round. That's crazy.
Was. And just a quick update: Erica and Carla are their draft has started. Erica is at the 3, and Carla is at the 6. So hopefully they will keep us updated on how that is going. Andrea, how are you this evening? Appreciate you jumping in.
What's up, girl?
We're back to this wide receiver run again here. With after Jaden Reed, we had 2, 4, 6, 7 more wide receivers off the board here in the 6th round. That's kind of been the theme this year. It's been, the runs. Theme of runs.
It really has, and we're getting really close to a point in receiver who's left available on the board that I don't necessarily feel as comfortable with. So I didn't really want to wait. In fact, all these guys here back at the back end of the draft, Jaden Reed, like the minute that I popped him in my queue, he was gone. And then I didn't have Watson in there because I really kind of prefer Reed. But that being said, I probably do need to diversify a little bit there. I had Ridley, I had Godwin, Hopkins, all in my queue of guys, waiting to kind of take as kind of that last little bit of receiver that I feel like is going to be kind of that tier break there. I don't necessarily love Worthy as much. Rome, I'm, kind of thinking he may not be as productive in the beginning of the season as he's going to be towards the end of the season, just because of the way that he's going to have to fight for targets with Allen and more there. But the rest of the guys that I'm kind of looking at on the queue here, we've got a lot of rookies. We've got a lot of number 2s here. We got some guys that are not on great offenses. So when you're talking about doing a draft like this is cumulative, right, Gator? So this is you're wanting to compile points throughout the entirety of the seasons from weeks 1 all the way up until week 17. So I'm targeting people that are going to be on high scoring offenses. I don't know about you, DeAndre Hopkins, but at least you're the number 1 there. Well, I guess really, is he 1 with Ridley? I mean, maybe 1A, 1B?
Yeah, I'm still calling him the 1. I drafted him on Scott Fishbowl. Just so everybody knows, I did do that. I am a believer in the Tennessee offense that's going to be coming in. I think it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a complete change from what Tennessee has done since back in the Steve McNair era. right?
Yeah.
It's a
Ooh,
complete
that's
change from there. So, it used to be a running game. I think it's going to be more of a passing game. And I think with Will Levis, they're going to figure out what they have in him. We saw it for a couple weeks last year, and DeAndre Hopkins was a big,
Mhm.
big part of that.
Right.
And so I'm in on DeAndre Hopkins. This might be the last year that I will be in on him, but I don't, they say follow the money, and yes, Calvin Ridley is paid to be the one,
Mhm. Yeah.
but he was paid to be the one last year, or at least traded for to be the one in Jacksonville. And yeah, okay, he was the one, but it was a not a great one season.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I feel like too, they're
give me
gonna be playing from
all
behind
the
a lot.
DeAndre Hopkins I can get this year.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, they're not gonna be I don't think they're gonna be winning a ton of games. They're probably gonna be playing from behind, gonna have to throw that ball. So I like getting a lot of the Tennessee players. You can get them relatively cheap, at a good price. You can do that stack pretty easily. And then if you are doing a correlation, you take a look at that. They are playing the Jags week 17. So that's another fun offense to kind of match them up with. You got some little Trevor Lawrence, you got a little ETN early, maybe going with Christian Kirk, and some of their fun, other ancillary players too. But that's it. That don't sleep on that stack. That's not, initially maybe it doesn't look that exciting on paper, but I have a feeling that's, going to be potential, game winners for some people.
Absolutely. Not just game winners, but week winners. I mean, and
Yeah.
in some cases, it could be true league winners. When it comes down to it, have that great week. If they could put 2 weeks together, what they put together, what was that, week 5, week 6 last year?
Yeah.
Four touchdowns in the first half. You were sitting pretty between D Hop and Will Levis. So
Absolutely. Had to throw some people in my queue real quick before it got a little gross
yeah,
out here.
we've seen the running backs fall a little bit here, and starting.
Mhm.
They've fallen to a point where now they've got to come off the board. This dead zone area, um, where we've had a good bit go off here. So as you're on the clock here, Christian Watson to start the 6th round. Christian Watson, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy, Roma Dunze, Rashid Rice, C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, Evan Ingram, another one that seems kind of has fallen down the board here. The 6th round, somebody that's just going to get a lot of volume.
Yeah.
I get that this is only a half PPR, but you're talking about somebody that got over 100 and some odd targets last year. Okay, Brian Thomas is there. Yes, fine. Calvin Ridley's not. Evan Ingram's still going to get 100 targets this year, in my opinion. Kyler Murray starts the 7th round. Jordan Addison, David Montgomery, Ramondre Stevenson, Aaron Jones, Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas, the aforementioned one route runner, Jake Ferguson, Najee Harris, Zach Moss, JSN, James Conner to end the 7th, and that just wraps around. And there's a nice little running back run here.
Yeah.
Stacy, you went and got your guy. You got my guy in the 7th round. You went and got
Mhm.
your guy in the 8th round. Talking about Najee Harris, and then you come in right back around, grabbing your second tight end in this draft. Behind George Kittle, you have Brock Bowers.
Yeah. So I went ahead and took Brock Bowers. Originally, my plan was to go back-to-back running backs here and get somebody that I really liked. But here's what happened is that Connor, Zamir White, Raheem Mostert all go off the board before I get a chance to pick and take in Raheem Mostert over there from me. Speaking of sniping. And then so I took a look at the rest of who was available and I just said, I'll push it. Because I've got Jahmyr Gibbs and I've got Najee Harris. I've got my 2 starters for sure. So I was taking a look and I said, I don't really love Tony Pollard, Brian Washington. I can probably push a little bit, a little ahead of ADP. The rest of these guys on here, I just wasn't thrilled with enough to take it that specific spot in the 8th. So I said, all right, who's best available? And I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and, fill out our tight end room and go ahead and get Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Ann says she's sorry, not sorry. I do not disagree with this, Vince. He says there are a few freaky non-TD situations for Ridley. Another year back in football shape could help or should help. I think he's going to be okay value. Where he went, absolutely, 100%. We were talking about the Texans situation earlier and how the wide receiver room, the three of them have flipped. The interesting thing to me is Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins are going within the same amount of range that 2 weeks ago you had Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs going. Maybe not the same range, but just the picks apart, 2 picks apart. So I don't don't disagree with that at all, Vince. I think that's a very, very valid point, and I think you're right. He could be a solid pick, especially at cost.
Yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, Vince, you always have some great points there in the chat. So I'm glad that you always join in. Thank you, everybody who's joining
It's
in.
like 2 a.m. there where Vince is at, by the way.
That's wild, crazy.
But it's tomorrow. He's in the future, so
Yeah. Oh, I see we're doing a little QB run. It looks like over here.
Through the 9th round here, yeah.
Yeah. Will I fall prey to the QB run? That's the question.
I was going to ask you. I mean, how far do you want to push the QB down the board here?
Push it one more round. I think
okay.
we'll see.
That's fair.
At least one more round.
I'm gonna love to see what happens after these next few picks to see what quarterbacks are available. I'm assuming you've already looked at that, so you know. I am not seeing. I'm seeing one that is still out there, at least that I can see by the board here that I really like. That's a good possibility here. So we'll see if he makes it back around and I'll be able to cheer you on because I think, going in the 10th round, this guy would be a phenomenal steal. Rasheen Shaheed, okay.
That's nice.
You got to remember, Joel, you got to remember this is not Scott Fishbowl. You get no points for return yards.
No points for return yards. If you're in the Scott Fishbowl and somebody's already taken Rashid Shaheed, I want to know what round they went in.
Well, in yours, he went in the 5th.
Yeah, that's.
He was standing there and about fell over when that happened.
So everybody's search history on Google is going to be guys that are getting used potentially on special teams for returns.
Charlene says that tight end run killed her. She was not going to get caught up in the QB run. The hell with that. She's going to start it.
That's right, girl. I'm going to go get me some old Jared Goff over here.
That's the one I was looking at thinking, okay, we can come back and get that. Yeah, okay. I like it.
Exactly. Gonna go grab
just a hair real quick for me, Stacy. One round or 2 rounds, maybe.
Is that good?
Yeah, we got the evidence room. Okay, Christian Watson. No, we left off with James Conner, right?
Yes.
No, we left off with Kyler Murray.
No, we definitely said James Conner. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Yep. Okay. So in the 8th round runs like this: Jonathan Brooks, Zamir White, Raheem Mostert, Brock Bowers, Keon Coleman, Deontay Johnson, which is another one I think is just why is he falling to the 8th round? I have so many questions on why people are allowing Deontay Johnson, who's a wide receiver 1, to fall to the 8th round instead of you're taking like a Roma Dunze, you're taking Brian Thomas, you're taking Ladd McConkey, you're taking Jordan Addison. These players should not, at least in my opinion, even Chris Godwin, and I'm a Buck fan, they should not be going ahead of Deontay Johnson.
Really?
No, Deontay Johnson is the one in what's going to be a team that is only playing from behind. And probably 90% of their games are going to be playing from behind. Deontay Johnson, if he's on the field, they're going to be throwing the ball. And he's going to be the first look. But that's beside the point. Jalen Waddle, Joe Burrow, DeAndre Swift, Jamison Williams, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Lockett in the 8th round. The 9th round starts this QB run. Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, David Njoku, Cortland Sutton, Devin Singletary, Dak Prescott, Caleb Williams, Tony Pollard, Brian Thomas Jr., which I love that pick, Stacy. Dallas Goedert, Adonai Mitchell, Rashid Rice. Joel wraps the 9-10 turn with Tajay Spears. Then we had Dalton Schultz, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, Jaden Daniels, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Josh Palmer, Romeo Dobbs, Tua Tagovailoa, and then Jerome Ford to end the 10th round here. Let's talk about these last few picks you've had there with Brian Robinson Jr. and Jared Goff there, Stacy. Go ahead.
I will do that first, but I took the time to look up some Deontay Johnson stats. So
before you go any further, the big boss is a little disappointed in you right now. You only have 2 tight ends.
Well, Josh, it's not a super tight end premium over here like it was at Scott Fishbowl, so I only need 2, and that's probably where we're going to stay.
In Vince's draft, Rashid Shaheed went 111. You asked that question earlier. Usually QB drafter, but the draft went Lamar Andrew Stack in the 4th and 5th. Wait, what? Oh, okay. She's talking about the best ball that they're in. I'm like, that's what happens when you're talking multiple different drafts, right?
That's great.
Erica said the Lamar Andrew Stack in the 4th and 5th. So
nice.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I do. I like that too. I like that a lot too.
No, actually, I didn't know you were in the chat until I saw the Deontay, and then I saw where you piped in there. So hopefully I did you right there, boss. Appreciate the props for that. I'd probably take Chris Slotwin over Johnson. Oh, god damn. Listen, I'm a Bucks fan, and I'm telling you, I don't know that that's going to be the right play this year. Stacey, you can go ahead and scroll if you don't mind.
Well,
as big of a Chris Godwin fan as I am.
Not this year?
No, I am. But value wise, give me Johnson, because I think there's a lot more opportunity there, especially with Baker Mayfield is going to be glued to Mike Evans yet again this year. Got to make Mike Evans a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree. I love Mike Evans. I would love to see that, especially for all those people that are drafting him in the 2nd round. Because holy guacamole, Batman. His ADP has jumped really just 1 round, but it's definitely something that I noticed when I was going back through to kind of take a look at these. It's like we started doing this show in April, right? So it's like, all right, what has changed, if anything? What have been some of the things that have stood out to me? So I went back and looked at a board that we did. Obviously not the marathon, because the marathon wasn't out in April. So I did a Best Ball Mania as opposed to a Best Ball Mania that we did, one of our last ones. And that was definitely something, is that you're seeing Evans in the 3rd round. Now he's going up in the 2nd. And that's where you have to take him if you want him. Oh, this is gross.
Don't know how it happens, but every year in the redraft home league, I always end up with Godwin. That's not a bad pick, just depending on where you're getting him. And if he is your wide receiver 3, depending on your league settings, if he's your wide receiver 3, if you're sitting there with a Jamar Chase, and who else would you have, Stacy? I would have Jamar Chase and whoever, another number 1, DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you're looking at Chris Godwin. Yeah, okay, I get it. But if he's your wide receiver 1, woof.
Yeah, that's not great.
That's kind of what I'm comparing it is. We know Deontay Johnson is going to be the wide receiver 1. There's a world where, Chris Godwin, we assume, is going to be the wide receiver 2. But if he's moving into the slot, we know Baker wants to sling it. There's a world that he could be the wide receiver 3 on his own team.
Oh, with Trey Palmer?
Trey Palmer, you got my guy, the guy I love, and Jalen.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got that opportunity. You got Trey Palmer. There's plenty. No, whoa. I'm not being a hater. I'm a Godwin lover. I am a Godwin lover. I just, listen, when you're giving me my guy over my guy, I got to take my guy.
You're going to take your guy. Take your guy with, I'm going to look up his fantasy points last year. Gator, can you tell me, if I can find him, tell me what Deontay Johnson averaged in a full point PPR last year?
What he averaged?
Yeah. What was his average point?
Am I allowed to cheat? Because
No.
oh, well, I'm gonna guess. Is it this? So I'm guessing you're wanting points per game basis.
Yes. And this is a full point PPR, not even a half point.
Shitty freaking quarterbacks all the way around the board. I'm gonna say somewhere in that 9.5 to 11.5 range.
11.7.
There we go.
11.7. I'm
Now,
going to look at his points per game. That's standard.
but you got to remember, you've also got to remember they passed for less touchdowns
Mm-hmm.
than just about every other team ran for. It was ridiculous how bad their passing was. And he still averaged 11 points per game.
Yeah, and I feel like Pittsburgh is a better offense than Carolina is.
Last year compared to this year?
I mean QB upgrade with Bryce Joel. I don't know about that.
Compared to what they had last year, Mason Rudolph. Who else did they have? Pick of the litter. Guy Chef Boyardee. They had Kool-Aid Man. They had like 7 guys that couldn't even start a game in high school. We're starting NFL games up there. No, it's way better. Yeah, Pickett. That's the guy.
Way better. They both had. Thank you, Josh. They both had 13 passing touchdowns in 2023. Thank you for that information there. The Jets had less with 11. Well, we saw what the Jets were working with. How many of those 11 came with that? Are those all offensive touchdowns for the Jets? Because I feel like their defense might have scored more touchdowns for them than their offense did.
The Jets defense had 12 receiving touchdowns. The Jets offense, no, I don't know.
I was like, oh
I shouldn't say that out loud.
Oh, that's funny. That
was bad for me to say.
I think that's
funny. I just think the offense is better for Deontay this year. I think we're going to see a better Deontay Johnson. And if we don't, come at me, bro. At Fantasy J 77, I have no problem saying I was wrong to you guys at the end of the year. But Deontay Johnson will be a better fantasy asset than Chris Godwin in 2024.
Well, Gator, all this Bryce Young, Deontay Johnson chat just made me do something. Not a fatal error here. We can rebound. Both my QBs have a week 5 bye.
That's not good. But you stacked both of them, so it's cool.
Yeah, so that means I need to go find another quarterback without a week 5 bye.
All this means is that now, for the first time probably this year, we're going 3 QB build.
Exactly. Every time I put somebody in my queue, you're right. They just absolutely disappear. So what's the point?
Yes. Queues are great, except for when you put somebody in there and then the queue's gone.
Yeah.
All right. So round 11 goes Jahan Dotson, Khalil Shakir, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Chase Brown, Trey Benson, Jacoby Myers, Justin Herbert, just falling off the God's green earth. Blake Corum, Ezekiel Elliott, who I'm starting to grow on, and great pick there in the 11th round. Pat Freiermuth, Kirk Cousins to end the 11th. Starting the 12th, we had Ty Chandler, Rico Dowell, Ricky Pearsall, Gabe Davis, Dontavion Wicks, Marshawn Lloyd, Jerry Jeudy, Josh's favorite wide receiver in all of football, including college, Josh Downs, Quentin Johnston, Xavier Legette, Cole Kmet, Luke Musgrave. I think so. I think when we do these, I think a lot of these people pick players that have similar names that try to trip me up. They could rhyme, kind of a thing. They do it to trip me up. So ending round 12 there with Luke Musgrave, Jaleel McLaughlin, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Darnell Mooney, Kamani Vidal, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Polk, TJ Hawkinson, Demario Douglas, Kendra Miller, Chuba Hubbard, Jalen Wright. That's the end of the 13th round. I'll stop reading them off there because I want to talk about a couple players here. First of all, love the Gabe Davis pick for you. More importantly,
because you know how much I hate it.
yeah, the one I love more is the Demario Douglas pick. You're talking about a wide receiver one on his own team
Hell yeah.
that you're getting in round 13. Again, going back to what we were talking about or what I was talking about with the Carolina Panthers, a team in New England that we all think is going to be playing from behind. They're going to be putting the ball up, and this is a wide receiver one that you're getting in the 13th round that is just nobody's paying attention to. Nobody.
Exactly. No one's paying attention to him. I feel really confident that he is going to be the one there. He's a huge part of that offense already. He's endeared himself to that team. Obviously, Belichick left, but, Gerard Mayo was still part of that team last year, so he saw him play. So I really like that. You never know what's going to happen with rookies when they come in. So even though I like Jalen Polk, I like Javon Baker, you don't really know for certain what's going to happen with them, as opposed to taking a guy that has been there, was there last year, already knows that offense. So I'm going to stop talking about how much I love Pop Douglas and shut up and take my next pick, which did somebody? No. All right.
I haven't seen him gone.
All right. I hate doing that back to back, but I just need to get that over with real quick with Drake May.
That's interesting. So, okay. We just talked about Pop. You turn around and take Drake May 2 rounds later.
I certainly hope that he's starting by week 5, or else I'm in trouble.
Well, that's exactly where I was going to go with that, because the Josh and I were having a conversation this past weekend, and with all the mock drafts, with all the best ball drafts that we've done, one player that is probably going to start week 1 at least, and may start for a couple weeks after that, is Jacoby Brissett.
Right, exactly.
And he's not getting drafted. And I was telling Josh, I'm like, I'm not seeing him drafted in a lot of drafts. But I do see Drake May getting drafted. Now, in a best ball format or a redraft format, you're looking at taking Drake May here in the 18th, or I'm sorry, the 15th round. Interesting that the perceived starter, at least right now, is Jacoby Brissett. And he's probably not going to get drafted in this draft.
Yeah, he's probably not. And I would like to see some numbers on Brissett being drafted, because I don't recall him being drafted. There's not a lot of my drafts where I can sit here and say, oh, yeah, I remember that Brissett, went and was one of the last picks. Let me make my pick real quick.
Bailey Zappi was unfairly being dismissed. Was on his way to
Zappi. Congrats to him, man. He just got married this past weekend. 'Tis the off season, right? All these weddings. I did hear something really funny when I was listening to the Mina Kimes show the other day. She was with Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football, and they were talking about Belichick and his new girlfriend. And they were saying that she's older than or not that Mac Jones was older than her, or she's older than, or something like that. Yeah, Mac Jones is older than his new girlfriend.
So Bailey Zappi, by the way.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi probably too. Now I'm gonna look it up and find out exactly how old they are. Poor Bailey Zappi. Go Western Kentucky. He's 25.
Yeah, he's too old. He's too old. He's too old.
Bill Belichick. He's like DiCaprio of the NFL. Mac Jones also 25.
So he has a type
there.
So you're saying he has a type? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow. This is in regards to my, Josh loves oh my Lord. He loves him so much I forgot his name now. Wide receiver.
Oh, I don't. Oh,
Jerry Judy. Yeah, no, Jerry Judy. Yeah, he told me to watch it because I said how much he loves him. Yeah, so he told me to watch it. I think I just got fired. The show's still. Are we still live?
I think so. Are we still in the chat?
No, we're still live. We're still live. Josh hasn't canceled this as of yet. Charlotte is They pick these players just to mess with me. So yeah, that's cool. I appreciate it. I think the people do. I think they do. I think they pick players like, oh yeah, we know he's gonna read all these players off. Let's trip him up.
Yeah,
So
why not?
speaking of tripping me up, round 13 went. I did read round 13, didn't I? Jaleel McLaughlin, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb. Yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
round 14 starts with Isaiah Likely, Deshaun Watson, Michael Wilson, Will
Mhm.
Levis, Tyler Algier, Antonio Gibson, Matthew Stafford, Jermaine Burton, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith, Adam Thielen, Demarcus Robinson. Somebody I thought you were pretty high on to start the year too was Demarcus Robinson. Come back and
Mhm.
visit that again in a second, but that may have changed here. Starting round 15, Marvin Mims, J.K. Dobbins, Wandale Robinson, Hunter Henry, Roman Wilson, Ray Davis, Tyler Conklin, Cade Otton, the aforementioned Drake May, Malachi Corley, Tyler Boyd, Elijah Mitchell, and then starting round 16, Jalen McMillan, uh, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Didn't even know he was still a thing, but okay. Ben Sinnott, Khalil Herbert, Troy Franklin, Luke McCaffrey, Bucky Irvin, Braylon Allen, Daniel Jones, Rashad Bateman, Noah Fant, and Damian Pierce. So let's go back and let's talk about Demarcus Robinson for just a quick second, because I know you were pretty high on him, or I thought you were pretty high on him to start the year.
I do like Demarcus Robinson, especially if you're going with, a Rams stack, if you're trying to do some correlation there. He's a good one that you can grab at the end of drafts for fairly cheap. Didn't have a ton of yards last year, really only averaging 5.5 fantasy points per game. But he does have nice 4 touchdowns there. So you do get a little touchdown upside with him. Going into probably a little bit more touchdowns than other guys who are getting these similar numbers. Let me take a look at his targets last year. I want to say he only started 4 games too. So, if he's starting a little bit more, then you're probably going to get a little bit more production out of him. But really, I mean, they're missing their tight end, right? So you've got Puka Cooper Cup. Really, who's after that in the receiving coordinator? It's not
Kyron Williams.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. So Kyron Williams. I'm just talking about like actual like receivers though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
So getting a little old, a little bit up there. He is 29 this year. But this is one where you're taking him in best ball, right? You're not going to go take him in redraft. You're not taking him in other formats. You're going to do this in best ball, because of that touchdown upside. Maybe he gets in your flex spot, 1 week. And honestly, at the point where you're drafting right here, where we're in, around 17, 18, that's what you're hoping. You're hoping to get guys that are probably going to be flex spot fill-ins when other guys are on bye week. You're not looking for your starters down here, unless you were lucky enough to get Puka Nacua last year, which is not going to happen every single year, guys. We all know that. That's pretty rare.
I think that's the biggest thing with him, and we've talked about this multiple times on this particular show. We not only want these spike weeks. This is like the Gabe Davis spike week, right? He had 2 games last year where he received at least 10 targets.
Yes.
So that's kind of what we want. You get that one game, boom, cool, plug him in. Maybe hopefully that happens on that bye week that we need him to plug in. But when you look at his overall career, it's been, I guess.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting there behind a Cooper Kupp, which they play the exact same position,
right?
The difference is Cooper Kupp can play multiples, and I think DeMarcus at 6'1", 202 is still just an outside guy.
I agree. There we go. All right. 18 rounds in the books. Got to finish out the rest of this round here.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So round 17 goes Deontay Foreman, Rashad Johnson, Bryce Young, Russell Wilson, Jonnu Smith, Chiga Kwankwo, Tyrone Tracy, Derek Carr, Greg Dortch, Audric Estime, Jelani Woods, and Javon Baker. If you were outside of the Greg Dortch pick, which is your pick,
yes,
this 17th round, maybe not the biggest dart throw, but maybe the biggest dart throw with the best opportunity just in the 17th round.
Well, exactly. So, here's a guy on their team, right? Obviously, you've got Harrison, you've got McBride there. You've got some other, kind of weird random pieces, beyond those top two guys. So I like Greg Dortch. Not for nothing, it sounds like Kyler Murray absolutely loves him. I mean, if you listen to Kyler Murray, he's, should be the, Greg Dortch is like the MVP, right? So he loves him. He loves that player. It's a guy who's been on that team for a while, well connected with Kyler. He's got that good connection there. You could do worse, dart throws than that. And it's a guy that's going to be a pretty, I'd say, offense that's going to be throwing a lot this year, right? Their running backs aren't exactly super inspiring. James Conner. I mean, I really like Trey Benson, but who knows? He's a rookie, so we don't really know completely what that's going to look like yet and how to use him. So if you're in the 17th round, you're looking for take a flyer on a receiver. Greg Dortch is somebody that I am smashing on consistently.
Again, you're looking at that spike week, one or two of those spike weeks where, again, he didn't have a single game last year where he had over 10 targets, but he had multiple games where he had over 7 targets.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm pulling up right now. Yeah.
And it wasn't until late in the season he didn't even play in the first 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe building a little bit of rapport. I mean, he's only a 5th-year player, whatever. But yeah, I love the Greg Dortch pick. There's a wide receiver that I love a little bit more, and that's Michael Wilson. But hell, he went 4 rounds beforehand.
Yeah.
And I get the whole Marvin Harrison thing, and I've said this on multiple shows to multiple people. I'm not out on Marvin Harrison, but I'm out on Marvin Harrison at cost.
At price, yeah, 100%.
12 rounds later and go get wide receiver 2 in that offense as well.
So Marvin Harrison goes to team 11 here on the second
round. Oh, I'm sorry, in the second round.
Yeah, he went the first round in the draft last night. So that's not unheard of for him to go in the first round too. And by all accounts, he's probably going to be amazing. But here's the thing: is that you just don't know, right? We don't know.
Well, I don't know if it's so much that we don't know how good he's going to be, because we all think he's going to be good, but at cost, it's just too much.
It is. I mean, especially if you're trying to go after, consistent players and, guys that are going to produce based on what they've done in the past. It's a little, I mean, who knows? Like I said, that's why we do a bunch of these, right? So we can play around with different roster constructions. So redraft, I might have a different position on Marvin Harrison Jr., but who knows?
Yeah, I like I said, I'm not in on cost there, but I am in on the cost of Michael Wilson in the 14th round.
Oh yeah,
the assumed wide receiver 2, and the assumed wide receiver 3 in round 17.
Right. And the knock on Wilson is that he has health issues. He had a bunch of health issues in college. But otherwise, a great player. I really like Michael Wilson, just generally as a receiver. 2 of my favorite receivers over here go into Ann over here, Michael Wilson, and then she follows it up with Malachi Corley.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, that's kind of where Charlene was over there getting DeMarcus Robinson and turns around and picks your guy from early this year and your guy from all year last year in Marvin Mims back to back there. So.
Marvin Mims, maybe. I'm hoping Marvin Mims has a better year this year. I hear, I was talking to a Denver fan at the Scott Fish Bowl this weekend who was saying that, Peyton was, out there saying, yeah, look, that was me. A lot of his usage was, coming from me. And that's, why he didn't really produce as much as everybody had hoped. That's on him. Plans to get him more involved in the offense, this year. Hopefully that's true and not just coach speak. So I'm hoping for a better second year from Marvin Mims and hopefully that is what will happen.
Stacey, can you tell us who the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, was of this particular draft?
Yeah, if you give me like 2 seconds, it's going to. Here we go. Oh, hang on.
Round 18 rounds out.
Oh, I did. Hang on.
Right as you did that. Hayden Hurst, Mr. Irrelevant. Charlene says she was the one drafting, so she drafted Hayden Hurst as her last pick there.
I'm gonna pull that board right back up, Gator. Hang on just a second.
That's fine. So I just wanted to read off round 18 so people could see what the ending looked like here. And it was, we need your location again. Okay. Let's
I really am in a
They-
state that allows this. I swear, Underdog. There we go.
Yeah, I've got some complaints with Underdog. I've got to send to them.
I'm just happy I can still do these in Florida. Okay, like so
Yeah,
I
scroll all the way to the bottom
won't
for
be
me.
complaining.
I jumped on this evening to just be ready just in case. And I don't keep a lot of money in Underdog. Most of mine goes right into the drafts or
Yeah.
whatnot. And so I had a number in my head that I thought it was. And of course I
Okay.
jump in and it's more money than I thought it was.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
my
That's
account. And
always
I'm like, okay, that's cool, but why? Because, well, 7 of the drafts that I have done over the last month have been canceled.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, why? I wish they would at least send
Yep.
out an email. I mean, the hell, they got my email address. Why is it being
Man.
canceled? Somebody did something stupid, whatever. Just let me know. So anyway, it made me feel some kind of bad way. Tank Bigsby to start out the 18th round. Alexander Madison, DJ Chark, Khalif Raymond, Mike Gesicki, Michael Mayer, Justin Fields, Odell Beckham Jr., Sam Darnold, Tre'Davion Sanders, Darius Slayton, and then, of course, as Charlene said, Hayden Hurst was Mr. Irrelevant, and I don't know how irrelevant he's going to be this
Charlene, I
year.
like it. You never
I
know though, because they've got quite the room there. Oh, sorry, Gator, I didn't hear you.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say they've got quite the group of tight ends there. I'm gonna take a second and pull up that depth chart.
Yeah,
There's several.
I like these dart throw tight ends here in the 18th round with Gesicki
Yeah.
and Jatavion Sanders, and of course the Hayden Hurst here. Because even if that's not going to be, they have no wide receivers outside of Ladd and outside of who else do they got? That's
Oh,
pretty much
I
it.
was gonna say Quentin Johnson, but they don't have Quentin Johnson either. So, I mean, they do, but do you really want that?
Who? Who?
Bo Melton. Who? Exactly, Quentin Johnson. I don't know what's going on with the our lads site here, but I'm getting a ton of ads all over my screen, so I can't get to that depth chart right now. But
Bo Milton was Josh Palmer. Okay, there. Okay, Josh.
oh, we forgot about Josh Palmer. My bad, Josh Palmer. I
Bo
like.
Milton was my last pick. Jamal Williams was Erica's last pick.
I love that pick for you. That's fantastic. I love
Yeah.
that. Get you some swag daddy in the last round.
Look, I enjoyed tonight. The people that couldn't get in opened up their own draft.
Exactly.
And they were
This was
in the chat, so I appreciate that. Bo Melton for president.
Didn't he have a brother that got drafted this year, I think?
Can't do any worse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had a brother that got drafted this year. Another Melton is in the NFL. I'm fairly certain. But yeah, huge thank you to everybody who drafted with us, everybody who's willing to jump in, tonight here and spend a little time with us. Even if you didn't get in, thank you for still drafting and being willing to hang out. Love that so much. This is such a great communicator. I think that's what something I really took away from this weekend, right? Just another reason why I love the fantasy football community so much is how it just brings people together and, just over something, a shared interest and hobby that we all have here and are super passionate about. So just big shout out to fantasy football in general. Making this such an enjoyable way to spend our free time.
No, 100%. Joel says Max Milton.
Thank you. I knew there was a new one.
He's a cornerback. So
Yeah.
But no, going off what you just said, I echo those sentiments. 100% fabulous time. The community is as a whole is so awesome. Really appreciate everybody that jumps in our chats, jumps in and drafts with us. That can make it to the live drafts. A big shout out to the fantasy football community. Big shout out to Scott Fish, Fantasy Cares, everything that they do. Big shout out to, and I know he doesn't like to be put out there in the forefront, but big shout out to Josh,
Yes.
for bringing a bunch of us together, behind the scenes with Joel, yourself, me, everybody else, Ryan, Faith, everybody. There's so many of us that we I can't even name them all. It's like naming football players. I have a problem unless there are like 12 of them in a row, in different colors. Don't know who the quarterback of the team is. We just know we have the coach, Josh Hudson, aka Hank Stram. So we are good there. Uh, but no, I mean, in all honesty, it is a great community that we I am lucky to be a part of.
Yeah,
So
100%.
absolutely 100%. All right. If you haven't already, most of you already have, but if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit that like for us. We hit 1,000 just a few weeks ago. We're almost to the 1,100 mark, on our way to 2,000. We can only do that with you. Please help us make that happen.
Yes.
Yes, Charlene. No. They are amazing. I am lucky to be, riding coattails at this point, and I appreciate them allowing me in my sorriness to be able to hold on to them coattails. Mr. Scampers, thank you for the entertainment. You are absolutely welcome. Absolutely. Hopefully it was entertaining and useful.
Informative. Yeah. Hopefully entertaining, informative. That's what we strive for. Have to have a good mix of both.
Josh would like us to strive for more useful than entertaining, but I find that impossible.
We you have to make it fun, right? This is a fun hobby. You're doing this for fun,
That's
right?
right.
If you are not having fun doing fantasy football, you do not need to be doing it, right? Because it's a huge time investment. So if you're not having a good time, don't do it. So that's why we are here. We are here to have a good time, bring this information to you guys in a way that is entertaining and makes you want to tune in every week.
100%. This
Yes,
is infotainment. Yes, 100%.
absolutely.
Don't forget, Monday night, we have Mocking with the Stars at 10 p.m. Tuesday night is Masterclass, like always. That is us, 8:30 p.m. Stacy, I know within the next couple weeks, we're going to do a sprint. We're not running. We are not
No,
running.
running
We're going
involved.
to do a sprint. So you guys get ready for that. It's basically the playoffs, right, Stacy?
Yeah.
We
Yeah. So
would-
it's just the playoffs. That's my understanding. It's just those last couple weeks, 15, 16, 17. So we talked zero correlation this week. We are going to talk all the correlation that week when we do the draft.
Nothing but correlation there. Wednesday morning, Who's Your Caddy? The Golf DFS show at 9 a.m. Wednesday evening, the flagship show of Club Fantasy FFL, no pun intended, at 7 p.m. Thursday, we got two shows for you on Thursday. Trade Blocked at 8, Mock Girl Summer at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, we got a show on Friday now, Stacy.
You get shows every day of the week. Every day of the week.
School, the other best ball show. A little bit, yes, a little more strategy talking over there. With Matt Rickard and Austin Amendolia. Saturday is Mocking Like It's Hot at 11 a.m. Although this week they will not run the Mocking Like It's Hot. For some reason, they're all going to go to Scott Fishbowl, NYC. Okay, whatever. Take a day off if you don't mind. Sunday, Dynasty After Party at 11 as well. Stacy, that is a lot of shows. And from what I'm understanding, there's more in the works.
If you guys are looking for content, like I know I always like to listen to podcasts, while I'm doing stuff around the house over the weekend, driving in the car to work, that kind of thing. So, this is great, guys. If that's what you're looking for, if that's what you are trying to find something to fill your time, we've got something for you every single day.
Absolutely. That's why we tell you all to hit that bell. When we go live, when we drop anything at all.
Like, subscribe, all that.
Stacy, let the viewers know what you're working on, where they can find your work.
Guys, you can find me over at Stacy_Perez 83 on the X, Twitter, whatever it is that you call it. I will be there trying to get out some content for you guys. Also trying to look and see what kind of drafts we're going to be doing for the rest of the season. Guys, it's already July 9th. We're halfway there. It's going to be, kickoff before we know it. So as always, if there's something that you want to draft on, you want to see us do, let us know and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we've got a couple of the drafts that we're going to be doing. I think we're still looking at another FFPC to do. We're still looking at possibly a Kentucky. If you know what that is, reach out to Stacy. She can give you all the details on that, how to get into it if you guys want to draft with us, whatnot. But next week, do you have an idea what we're going to do, Stacy? Or are we just going to...
I don't have a clue yet. And I don't have my calendar up here. So it's going to be a surprise. So you're only going to know if you follow Gator and I, if you follow Club Fantasy, if you hit that subscribe button. That's the only way you're going to know exactly what we're drafting next Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern.
Yeah, make sure you're following Club Fantasy FFL over on Twitter as well. Make sure you're following Women of Fantasy Football over there on Twitter. Until next week, guys.